Good evening, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining us. What a stream we've got set up for tonight. A lot of you are in here nice and sharp and early, so thank you very much, guys, and the notification crew. This pub's on entry, like I said earlier today. Very much looking forward to this. Didn't see the whole Bundesliga thing coming. Last time I seen you on the Monday stream, and they'd kind of teased already that October was going to be big and there was going to be something big this week. But wow. And it's still, I don't think we're really going to feel the effect of this. I'll come on to some stuff as we run through the stream tonight, I'm sure. But number one, thanks a lot for joining us, guys. If you're watching us live, of course, you've been thanked already, but thanks again. If you're watching us after we've been live, thank you very much for hitting on the video. At any point, if I say something you want to interact with, just drop it in the comment section down below. I'll be picking them up for the next kind of day or two, at least. You laugh, you learn, you like something, whatever, drop a little thumbs up, hit the stream, drop what we like in the video. Helps a lot. Thank you very much in advance if you do that for me. We're going to be previewing Bundesliga clubs that don't already have cards on the platform. I don't really see there being much of a need or want or desire from anyone here for us to talk about Bayern Munich or Bayern Leverkusen, so we'll just charge on with the the best of the rest. You know, the newcomers. Who are we getting? I kind of dropped already on Twitter. We're probably going to start with Dortmund. Makes sense unless there's some sort of revolt in the live chat. But we'll start with Dortmund. We'll then run to RBL, Leipzig, and then we will go to Mönchengladbach, and then we will just kind of bounce about from there. At point of the stream, it's 9:45 British time, and what I was kind of thinking is I'm going to use the announcement of the America team for the game against Jamaica. When I get the notification for that match, that's when I know, right, that's kind of where we're going to be ending the stream. So that'll be kind of probably the last thing we finish on, is finding out if I've got a team actually going out this game week, which is quite apt for a Thursday, certainly. So, hey ho. Thanks a lot for joining us. I'll get into the live chat with all I use and see who we've got. Mikey Basson is in the house. Good to see you. Fist bump for you and Rob Turner as well. Daniel Cooper, Shrew 1886, Connor R98, Moldy 7890. Fist bumps for all you guys. Bob Flynn, my man. Chrissy Quirk, there he is. Evening all. Not caught these live of late. Excited. Hope you're doing well, and let's make it a fun one. Yeah, definitely international break can be a bit of a killer. And I have actually, you know, the last international break I was actually quite well involved, but see, for this game week, I have just dropped the ball big time on just who's actually in their squad and everything. Like, I picked Yamain, and he's nowhere to be seen. I didn't do anywhere near as much on the game week as I should have. So I'm hoping I've pretty much picked the whole America. I've picked 4 guys that should play for America, and then Joe David for Canada should play, you'd expect. So I'm hoping I can get 5 out of the games we've got tonight, and make my game week exciting right at the very end. Predictology's in the house. Good to see you, my man. And Josh Forth, good man. Good to see you. So I was really excited. I dropped a little tiny video the other day about the announcement, kind of touched on the main points of it, etc. But I think pretty much, like, the Bundesliga, the great thing about it is that you don't need me to tell you too much about it, because it's, you know, the top 3 biggest leagues in the world quite comfortably. I would say so. We're going to be familiar with a lot of these guys. We're going to be familiar with a lot of the situations. I've covered a few of these guys already on the podcast, I beg your pardon, and I have just watched the Bundesliga for. I was actually thinking about this after I mentioned it. I think on the video, or I mentioned it somewhere at some point. I thought, how long have I been watching Bundesliga? And I can remember watching Bundesliga in a flat that I lived in before I had the kids. I think like maybe 8 years ago or something like that. So a fair length of time. So I'm kind of like, there's some characters I'll be familiar with, and some players and situations and whatever. There might be some stuff I pick up tonight for the first time, which would be cool. And hopefully for you guys at home, there's tons of stuff that you pick up that might be an interesting wee fact that you put to the side and come back to it later. Might be something you want to action on day one auctions, because it is going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be a black and yellow bloodbath. It's going to be all about the Haalands and the Reynas and Bellingham's and all the rest of it. And then there's a few other characters across the league, of course. But some of these teams, man, they've got good players. And there's some that I know I'll probably bring up if I don't get to it organically through the video tonight. I'll try and make a note how we're going as well. I'll try and timestamp this, so if you're watching this after we've been live, or even if you want to revisit it for something you missed out on or whatever, that'll be in the description down below, and it should be dead easy for you to navigate that, should I remember to kind of keep tabs on it, which I'll try. Stefan, good to see you. High five, good to see my man as well. We had a great day watching all the Asian World Cup qualifiers. I know that fucking Syria scored against South Korea. I was pretty gutted about that. The Bundes is my key into Champion EU. Now, I actually think, Josh, that is a great point to start off the stream. Though I just spent 0.9 on a Challenger SR forward. That's a big purchase. Hope it was a goodie. Haaland is going to be very expensive, yes indeed. At all levels of the game, Haaland will rival Mbappe. You know, if you're expecting him to be, he is going to be in the Mbappe categories. And I'm not really up to speed right now, this second, on the market rate for Mbappe at all the scarcities. But the impact Mbappe had when he came on, in terms of like the records he was breaking and all that kind of stuff, I fully expect that to be the exact same situation for Haaland coming into these auctions as they come out. But Josh, we have just had, as you will know, of course, we've just had La Liga, the full division. We've just now got the Bundesliga, the full division. Serie A last year, guys, it's really understated, but we have over half of Serie A. A lot of them came on, as you might remember, in batches and bundles. Batches of bundles. They came in barrels, you might even say. They came. The Serie A clubs came in barrels last year, and it's kind of easy to forget that we do have like the likes of Sampdoria and Verona and one or two others. I'm even forgetting now. We still have some, half a league basically to fill out there. So that's not too far away. In France, it's not quite half, I don't think, but we've got like certainly like 7 or 8 of them now. So like we've been kind of chatting about before with this dynamic reward structure, it has been so super competitive up until this point because there has only been like 2 teams from the German portion of it, and the two they've always been dominant. Leverkusen, since my involvement is so rare, I've had a couple of great purple patches that a lot of people could pick up cards like Bailey, Amiri this season, and last season like Tapsoba. This season, guys like Frimpong and Verts, of course. Paulinho, Schick, that they've got good guys that when they go out of form, you can get them cheap, and they do get good purple patches that last a good time. So Leverkusen when they're hot, and Bayern being Bayern, the German contingent of Champion Euro has been pretty dominant. So with this kind of dilution, in the sense that some of these, the fixtures that these teams get purple patches against, there's about another 4 or 5 about to join us that will get those same purple patches as well. So a lot of opportunities to go around in terms of getting stuck into it. Yeah, get your toe in the door would be a target. Yeah, exactly. Try and get some stuff. So I think what we'll start with, will we do a kind of wee league overview, or no? I think we'll just dive into the clubs. I think so. I'm gonna go back to Bundesliga here with Dortmund. Sometimes a wee bit pedantic about how I want you to navigate. I was setting up a wee bit too long. Got straight to it with the old Borussia. So Borussia Dortmund are the first team that are going to be on everyone's radar in terms of catching up with all the latest auctions that come on. So one thing that I am pretty gutted about for myself, so I'm just going to sort this screen out so you guys can watch me being all inquisitive looking and confused. One of the things that really has irked, disappointed, saddened me over the last couple of days, last couple of weeks, is the success of one Gavi. As you'll probably know, especially if you go and check out my club, FC Barcelona or Quinny, search in those things on SoRare. You can go and check out all the cards I've got, my club, my gallery, etc. You can see all the rewards I've won, all the cool stuff I've got in my squads. Follow me when you're over there if you do jump over and have a peek. But what you will see in my limited contingent is I have got a huge portion of them as rookies, and that's something I'm just doing. Like, I see a rookie, I'll just try and get a couple of them just for shits and giggles, really, as much as anything. And Gavi, Alex, Balde, and I think there was 3 at Barca. I was like, it makes sense just to go and pick up a bunch of them as quickly as possible, and I just never get around to it. And Gavi, man, the prices of Gavi now it makes me. Oh my god, I should have just got one, man. And even if I got a rare, I seen a rare go for like 1.8 or something mental. That will be one of the, that Gavi card, if it keeps going the way it's going, that will join, or it already is, certainly in the realms of like the Cherkeys and the Dokus of this world, in terms of like the rookie status and how highly sought after they are. This is Y Scout, Luciano, so this is a paid tool. So I do this in my members section. So we deep dive into clubs and players and all that kind of stuff, and you can actually watch video footage and highlights and stuff like that. We're not going to be doing any of that tonight. We're going to look over some raw data and stats. So right, okay, let's get back. I've fixed the screens up and about. If only I could afford a Kostic, Mikey Bass, and talk to me about Kostic. This is the Dortmund squad as it's listed here. I'll maybe refer to a few other sites just to make sure we get an accurate reflection. All these people will have featured this season. Pongracic, I've got no idea how you say his name. He gets signed in from somewhere else in Germany, and he's been doing very well from what I gather. Schultz, we'll all recall from Football Index if you were over there when he was at Hoffenheim. He's a very exciting attacking player, attacking fullback. And there's a lot of great names here. Kanji, Rafael Guerrero is probably somebody I'm going to try and hope you get one on the cheap, because I'm a big fan of him and what he does. Witzel, we've already got cards for. Bellingham is going to be a mega hot card. I actually really like Marco Reus, but the thing with Marco Reus, similar to Mario Götze, of course, is just that very powerful injury record that they have is very off-putting, you know. Julian Brandt is a nice card. Torgan Hazard, we already have some of him, of course. Rainier, the guy that's been on a 2-season loan from Real Madrid, will finally get a card for him because he's not obviously been at Real Madrid, so that way an interesting dynamic. Daniel Malin is going to get a new season issue, of course. Muokoko, I can't say it, I'm sorry, but he is going to be, he's not going to get a rookie card. This is definitely not his rookie season. Last year was definitely his breakout year, but that card is going to be at the top of a lot of collectors' lists, I can tell you that. The thing about Dortmund is they are such a jewel of a club for having Muokoko last season, of course, still having Sancho, Erling Haaland, Gio Reyna, not even mentioned him yet. Rainier as well, even just for status, and if he did go on to Real Madrid, he might do nothing at Dortmund, but being in on him early, very feasible to pay off, you know. The way if you watch Vinicius and Rodrigo, how they've prospered. Because the thing with Dortmund, I've kind of touched on this in the podcast and stuff, I think it was falling from Olympus jargon. But like Rainier being at Dortmund, I don't know if you've seen the documentary or what it was, the kind of behind the scenes stuff they did with Dortmund, but they've got, honestly, it's like a laboratory of football, you know, like what these guys do in between the actual like training sessions as such. So even just being in like this fucking football laboratory that they have over in Dortmund can only serve him well for when he does go back to Spain, does go back to Real Madrid. NFG, good to see you, my man. Thanks for joining us. Wish I grabbed up a Gavi and a Yerimi. Oh, is Yerimi, was he the other one? Josh Davis flipped a load of fatties as well as it seems a lot of the hype prospects. Yeah, Fatty was a good one as well because he was like forgotten about quite quickly because he was injured, and that's the thing. Well, a lot of these guys, some of them are hype. Rainier could be the same. He's barely featured for Dortmund. We'll click on him and see how he's having a look at this year. So he's barely done anything as far as I'm aware, and I've not been paying much attention to Dortmund. My kind of following of the Bundesliga, especially over the last 4 seasons, has been very Leipzig heavy, and that's like my kind of area of expertise. But I do catch a lot of Gladbach, I do catch a lot of Dortmund, and even Frankfurt because you know Kostic, Jovic, Haller. They've had some good attacking players. Good UEFA Cup run, you might remember as well. What was some of those guys? Um, Sorry, I digress. But all competitions, all seasons. No, we just want this season. So Renier has had minutes played 22, 19, 14, 11. Yes, he's coming off the bench and just getting little bit part appearances, so not too much yet. What about Marco Reus? How's he shaping up this year? Marco Reus. Oh no, we're not going to be looking at that. Sorry. Marco Reus, because Marco Reus when he's fit, he's such a great player. I'm such a huge fan of Marco Reus, and but like, it's the same as like guys like Ozil and whatever. But you're just always worried that they're not going to be on the whole time. They're always going to be participating. But wow, yeah, look at that minute count he's picking up. I don't think he's in the Germany team, or is he in the Germany team? I know he kind of took a step back. I don't know if he's back on the scene there, but wow, yeah, he's getting lots and lots of minutes. I haven't looked at his SO5s yet, but a lot of minutes for Royce is always a good sign. And for an older card, you might get a bit of a discount on that. It's different times in the market and whatever. Let's have a look at just Dortmund stats in general, how they kind of stack up. I want to see. I kind of want to see it in the overall league form, I suppose. I want to see how are Dortmund doing. But again, guys, if you're wondering what this is, we're knocking about on, it's Y Scout. You can see it in the top left. I do this on the member section. We go into the actual video clips, etc. when we're on that as well. And so we'll go to team rankings. So we'll have a wee look and just see exactly how Dortmund are shaping up now this season. Now, Marco Rose is the manager. This is the reason I want to check this, right? Marco Rose did very well. I'm pretty sure he was at Salzburg. He did pretty well. He's part of that whole Salzburg kind of gang. But he was at Gladbach and really was playing great football at Gladbach for a few years. Did some really good performances in Europe as well. And they were right in amongst it without spending too much money. And they didn't really sell anyone either. They just didn't properly kick on with just the players they had, you know. I'm a big fan of some of them, but it was attacking football, it was front foot stuff, and going into Dortmund with the players that they have, it was just expected to be a bit of a marriage made in heaven. But Gladbach, because the funny thing about it, as you might remember, is Rosa was announced in the January, and then Gladbach's results just nosedived, and you know, I'm looking at them, they're third, they've played 7, won 5, lost 2, but, you know, I'm thinking, I've seen the results, I think the games they dropped points were like Barnstormers, where it was just like end to end, they couldn't defend, and I think they've been a bit late at the back, so I'm just interested to see how maybe some of these stats reveal Dortmund, you know, in terms of how they're looking this year. This is just main goals and stuff, I'm not too concerned with that. I like to look at all the kind of passing stats and all the interesting ones, you know. So pass count, they're second only to Bayern, and they're a good stretch ahead of Gladbach, so they're getting a lot of passes in early. The season this is, of course. Through passes is nice and high. They do like to counter attack. You know, you see that when you see Haaland like breaking through, they do like to bounce on teams. Long passes, they're not even in there, but key passes nice and high. No one's anywhere near Bayern for key passes, are they? um, balls into the final third. It's just typical teams. Now it's funny. I'm pretty sure it was Chrissy Quirk in the Twitter thread suggested Stuttgart, and I've got a feeling they've got a few good young players. I had that in the back of my head from some of the Twitter accounts I follow, and then seeing this statistic now actually makes me quite eager to delve into Stuttgart at some point. So I think we'll definitely do that. Smart passes is a cool stat. I mean, you get to watch the videos and you see what smart passes look like. Generally, it's a nice statistic for those players that sometimes not other statistics really reveal their quality. You know, it's a very subjective statistic, of course. Progressive passing is the one that we all get wet for. Nice and high. Yeah, nothing's really surprising me too much. Deep completions, nice and high. What about defense? Let's see. Reception. Challenge intensity. Yellow cards. Let's see how they're getting booked quite a lot. League average is 12. Let's call it 13. They're on 15. So I'm getting a wee bit more challenge intensity. So they're tackling hard like big smashers. Yeah, they're up there. Ball losses. Where are they? Oh, they're very low. Very, very low. League average is 740. I'm guessing that's total. Yeah, that's total. For 90, the average is 98. Yeah, they're below average. I suppose they're below average more than anyone else. Actually, that's actually a good stat. So they're the best team at retaining the ball in the division. Oh no, they're not. Sorry, I beg your pardon. It would be Leverkusen. Wow, Leverkusen, then Gladbach, then Dortmund. So interesting. Interceptions is a nice statistic, especially if you're defensive players. Do we get a lot of interceptions in the Dortmund team? Is that kind of how they're breaking up the play and trying to get counter attacks? So those are for Stuttgart. Yeah, that sounds familiar. Could be interesting. I think he might be classed as a defender, but he's been playing CM and gets assists. King Mislintat. Chrissy, I will note that down and we'll catch him, I am sure, in the stream tonight. Interceptions, they are per 90. Yeah, they're quite low actually. Yeah, for interceptions, that's not good. And I'm pretty sure there was good ones like expected shots against and stuff like that. Like expected goals against. There we go. That's a good stat. So expected goals against Dortmund 9, but they've conceded 13. Wow, yeah. So calamitous at the back. It seems Mavropanos seems solid. I've already caught Mavropanos. I forgot what team he's played for. He's playing for the now. He's still on loan from Arsenal, but Chrissy, I seen him the other day. What team is he at again? Mavropanos. He caught my eye the weekend, I think, or the last game week. Nothing overly interesting, I must say, actually, here. So, Dortmund, is there anything else we would want to... You know, it's quite obvious, like Berkey... Well, I was going to say it's quite obvious it's Berkey, but the goalkeeper situation has actually been all over the place. I'm pretty sure it's this Kobel guy that's actually number one. He's a signing from... Oh, it's a domestic signing. It might have been... I don't remember who it was now, but he's 23. Will he be U23? This guy could be mental. He is playing, I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's playing Kobel. Sven Mislinat, the scout Quinny. Arsenal ruined his rep. Oh, okay. Lost me. I don't know why he's relevant now. Was he the guy that tipped this Mavropanos and he's turning out good? Is that what it is? Yeah, so he's the starting goalkeeper. Expected goals conceded or expected clean sheets, is that? Clean shots against. It's not, you know, so if they're a bit calamitous at the back, Dortmund, they're needing the goalkeeper to make the saves. How's he do for passing? So short pass is accurate, or well, the accuracy's there. The count can be big in some of these dominant matches, I suppose. Played for Switzerland as well. We played one match for Greece. Switzerland's played one match for Switzerland. That's interesting. Jan Sommer is the goalkeeper for Switzerland, as far as I'm concerned. But if he's getting a cap, he's getting bled in already. This guy's obviously a hot prospect in terms of goalkeepers. This could be a guy. Arsenal have got a hell of a lot of top class talent. CAPC, yeah, it's not a great crew. I ran a Heracles one last week when they were losing 2-0 teams. Nice. Hi Kyle, you did very well actually. I seen you on Twitter. So Thomas Meunier, the thing with Thomas Meunier is he's a very attacking fullback when he is playing, so he may be one of these guys. And the thing with there's a very crucial stat here, which is error led to goal. I don't know if that will be revealed in this, um, but this is definitely a guy that could potentially. But the thing with Meunier is he's huge, so he also gets up for corners and set pieces and stuff like that. So having like a tall, he's a Gareth Bale type in the sense that he's a huge like human being, like tall, physically strong, very quick, can hit a shot, can cross, and he's not scared to put his head in, you know. So in that kind of mold where if he's fit and firing and up for it, it can be a weapon. And those fullbacks that can get decisives to mitigate against all the negative points that they accumulate can be very good. Look at that for assists, you know, basically 1 in 5 matches, and goals is 12% of his matches are goals, you know. So for a fullback, that is very generous. Successful dribbles are 57% of the time. Long passes are just a shade under 50%. Interceptions 4.61 is his average per 90, and recoveries in the opposition half 8.94 a match over the over average per 90. So Meunier is a very exciting defender type as well. I think Bellingham is the one that everyone's going to go for. We'll have a wee look at his stats maybe for some context for later on, because I don't think many of us will be in the market for him. He does still play for Belgium. He has Belgian cards, I believe, also, Thomas Meunier. I was very close to buying him. My problem is I have too many Thomas Meunier type defenders, like champion Euro guys that are like, you can buy them and you know you can play them every week. I have enough of those guys. But he's definitely somebody I would heavily consider if age isn't a problem for you. And yeah, because, where does he go from Dortmund? He was just at PSG. Maybe goes to the Prem, like maybe goes to Newcastle. Newcastle, by the way. Oh, to be a Geordie tonight, by the way, man. There'll be a lot of 9 months' time. There'll be a lot of the population of Newcastle will be increasing significantly. You know, I was thinking of this, man, but the Geordies are like an oppressed people. You know, like that club is so heavily rooted in the city, and the torment they've went through for at least a decade has been astonishing. You know, so it's good to see them get some reprieve. There's also a lot of debate and conversation around the particulars of that, which I'm not going to go into, but glad to see them happy. I've got a few people. I know a few people that like Newcastle, and I very much look forward to calling them plastic fans of a plastic club. Should be good fun. But Bellingham interceptions is huge. Recoveries in opposition half, he's getting close to 7 a match, which for a midfielder is looking great. Successful dribbles over 50%, fantastic. Duels won 48%, nigh on 50% basically. You know, goals and assists in equal measure, 13 and 14% of his matches basically. And yeah, pass accuracy 84%. He's box to box, he's dynamic, he kind of does it all, Jude Bellingham. Everyone's loving him now, and if you can get a piece of him somehow, then you'll be doing good. Emre Can, Forgan Hazard, nobody here. Mahmoud Dahoud, like, was very good. Who did they sign him from? I want to say it was Gladbach. Not really featured too much, but I think Rosa has been playing him, and he could be somebody you can get cheap into that midfield potentially. Witzel's getting older, he's still good, but playing less and less frequent. Sometimes Witzel had to fill in at centre back and stuff. So 8 minutes, he's getting appearances certainly. You know, played against Besiktas and Leverkusen and Hoffenheim and Freiburg, and yeah, he's getting big minutes here. You know, so he is playing, which is always something you need to consider. Let's just focus on the stats for this season. So overall, what's he doing that's impressive exactly? Dribbles are high percentage but low count. Duels won is 57%. Aerial duels won 57%. Interceptions are just under 4. This is all per match on average for how he's done so far this season. Recoveries in the opposition half as well, just under 8 per match as an average. Those are some really impressive stats. And then what isn't shown here, this actually might be the first card I want to dive on and have a look at SoRare Data for Mahmoud Dahoud. So, and I hope I'm saying that right, because I have a lot of fun saying it if I'm honest. But that's a nice, interesting combination of statistics. And I don't mind searching this out with you guys, because most likely limited I'm going to be shopping for with some of these. And I just know the quantities of them and how ferocious the competition there will be. And the last 5 is averaging at 38. Scores aren't that great actually. The DNPs are in there. You know, I say he's not always been a regular. And yeah, so it can get into the 50s, high 40s when he is in a good match. That's a 60 there. I wonder if he got decisive. No, he didn't. We can get those games where let's have it in him. He's losing points here, so there's a 44 here, but his decisive score was 25. So what did he do wrong in this game week? Can we see? So interesting to see some of that kind of stuff because his core kind of winning the ball, successful duels, over 50% is what you need really to be in contention of good points. So I don't know if maybe even some of these were unlimited minutes and stuff. 60 minutes, 90, 90. Mahmoud Dahoud doesn't look too great, but that could be a super rare I could get excited about. I know I was just talking about limiteds, but if if his SO5s are like that, and I think there is something there, if he does get a good run of form, or he just maybe realizes a bit more of his potential, maybe he's gradually getting a little bit better. I've not been watching him that close, I'm just looking at raw information, trying to piece together the puzzle, and then as you watch it a bit closer, once you get closer to these things, you can kind of feel out exactly what the trajectory is, what are the mitigating factors and situations, what's upcoming, and that's the kind of stuff you want to get a feel for when because that you are going to be spoiled for choice, guys, with this Bundesliga. There is no two ways about it. I feel like I spent enough time on Dortmund. If there's anyone else you want me to double back to on Dortmund, let me know. Just when I set up the screen, I'll switch that around. You guys can let me know if there is anything else you want me to look at for Dortmund, and or if there's anything else you want to just throw at me. Just going to wait for screens. Nice water's dripping. Just looks like I've pissed myself now. If I was a Sunderland fan, I'd be moving far away from Tyneside, says Daniel Cooper. That is the shout of the night. Top end tier 3 challenger for Kyle. 0.5 of a point off a tier 2, so unlucky. Sold him for 0.16, lovely. Surely Mounier is murdered by possession. Yeah, he probably is. Well, we check out Mounier's stats. He is on the platform already, so if you're thinking, oh, have I maybe slept on him? Maybe not. Maybe that's why you weren't aware, because maybe he doesn't score too good. How the hell do you spell it? There you go. His stats are okay. There he is in his Belgium kit. And his stats are okay, yeah. He does get decisives, which I think saves him, because he's getting into the 40s and stuff. What about these games here? These sub appearances? Yeah, 7 minutes. Yeah, so like, his last 40 will definitely be nerfed down to DNPs in these sub appearances. So I actually would not pay too much attention to these because they will be mightily nerfed. You can look at the collection of 60 pluses you can see over that with the amount of DNPs, etc., etc. So if he is fully fit and firing, then last score here is all round was -7. He must have got booked and error led to go. I did say that, didn't I? He is a wee bit calamitous. If you watch him, I have watched him a few times. -13 here, so yeah, I think he maybe just has a rick in him. It's probably part of it, or you can just toss a lot of no hope balls nowhere. But he does have decisives in him, and if, as I said, that with players like this who can get decisives, it can mitigate against like pulling in an all round score of like. Well, I just seen one a second ago. His all-round score was -26, but he must have got a goal and an assist because he bagged in a 60. So that is a useful player to have, because even if it is having a mare, he's throwing one of those balls in, or a no-hope corner goes in and he gets a head onto it or a toe or something. And he's a big game player. If you look at his goals, he's definitely scored in big matches. It's something I can definitely say I've noticed of Thomas Mounier myself. What do you think of Florian Neuhaus? Yeah, not horrendous. Pedro Porro-esque, yeah. There's some magic. I'm up to speed. So Neuhaus, we'll come to. Well, I was going to go to Leipzig, but we'll just go to Mönchengladbach. So I'm very excited about Gladbach, and I've not actually spoke about Gladbach in a very while. Excuse me. So yeah, let's do that. Borussia, let's go to Borussia Mönchengladbach. If I could spell, that would help. Yeah. Mönchengladbach. I'm very excited as well, guys. You tease with the announcement that they're going to be doing like the same stuff with La Liga, like ticket cards and special weeklies. I cannot wait, by the way. But see, as soon as this stuff gets ironed out and penciled in, guys, just buckle your seatbelts up, man. This shit's going to get crazy. Woo! Going to be so much fun. Cheeky wee burp there. Right, okay, I think we're set up with the old Gladbach, so here we go. So Jan Sommer is the number one goalkeeper. He is old, right, but Jan Sommer is a beast, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's one of the best goalkeepers in the game. I would, in terms of my perception and opinion of him, I would definitely put him up there with Oblak. But what goes against him is that he's not quite as young as Oblak, and Oblak's not young, of course, I know, but I feel like 34 or something now, Jan Sommer. Maybe 32. Yeah, 32. Last second guess. Saved it. This is the last fives and all that. Look okay, I suppose. I think they did nosedive towards the back end of last season, like I said already. And this year, their new manager is another one of the Red Bull boys. I forgot his name now. And I think they've quite hit the ground running. Off the top of my head, I'll check out the standings in a second. But Jan Sommer's clearly the number one goalkeeper. Now, the thing about Gladbach for me, right, is like a lot of people. If you watch a lot of football, you like football, you will love the Dortmund team for all those little James and Jules, right? But see, for the guys that are like next level detail, that really want to be a wee bit contrarian or find that little guy that nobody else finds or whatever, just in general football, fandom and knowledge and games and whatever you play and do and whatever else. Gladbach is one of those teams. There's tons of talent here. Joe Scally has been a bit of a breakout and a massive surprise to me, I must admit. But Nico Elvelde, Matthias Ginter, Remy Bensebaini, and is that it? There's another one I thought, have they maybe sold somebody? Maybe somebody's missing from here. We'll check that out. But they've got some of the most exciting young defenders in the league, I can safely say. And predominantly they've been playing with like a 3-4-3 formation, that kind of thing. So the defenders get high pass counts, good through balls like Elvedi, for example. Let's check out Elvedi. He should be interesting. It was very much linked before COVID and all that, getting linked to the Premier League and the La Liga quite often. Definitely seen as one of the most up and coming centre backs in Europe. Who's not at a big team yet. Air quotes, because Gladbach have been in Champions League and stuff. He's played Champions League, he's played Europa League, he's got pedigree. He's been playing all the time now. Got an injury as well not too long ago. Let's see what he's excelling in this year. So duels won 69%. This is like Van Dijk levels. Aerial duels won 73%. Interceptions about 4.5. Losses of possession in his own half, just about 4 a match. So you can get away with that. But recoveries in the opposition half 12. That must be like from corners and stuff like that. Maybe he's like so that's quite interesting. I'm just kind of thinking out loud, right? But if he's got such high recoveries in the opposition half, somebody like him, maybe he's like outside of the box as a defender, because I don't think he's like a big mammoth of a guy when I've seen him play. Maybe he's like outside of the box, and then when those like corners that don't go on target get cleared out the box, maybe if you're winning that ball, maybe that counts. So, who knows? I'm just kind of thinking out loud, but if he's some really good stats there, actually. Let's check out Elvedi. I've got this kind of vibe going now between SoRare Data. So, we love SoRare Data, and get a bit more involved. We've got the setup ticking over nicely. Zachariah gets in the FIFA Team of the Week. He'd be an interesting one to look at. Zachariah, again, is somebody that I think we're all quite familiar with, and I'll very much look at the stats and see how he's doing. Out of nowhere, he was kind of linked. Yeah, look at Elvedi. Wow, some 100s. Wow, yeah. Elvedi. Boys and girls, you heard it here first. Got it in him, man. 300s from centre back. Decisive scores in all 3 of them. Wow. Decisive score in a 98 was 35. Jesus. He's got it in him, man. He's got that potential. So Elvedi is somebody that, yeah, I'm excited about. He's 25, so he's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. But I was calling him young earlier on. That's my perception. But you think COVID and he had an injury or something as well. That is like 2 years ago when he would have been like 23 and becoming. Guys, we are all kind of brainwashed in a sense to think like under 23 is like a thing, right? But if you're breaking into like a first team in a top 5 league in Europe under the age of 23, that's a pretty big deal, man. So he's also broke in at the age of like 21 or whatever and kind of kicked on and cemented his place and flourished and grown, etc. But Elvedi's definitely somebody I would be excited to get a card for, no doubt about it. Let's see the midfield. Okay, so we mentioned Zachariah already. We've been asked about Florian Niehaus. Laszlo Benes, by the way, and Christopher Kramer. Do not sleep on both of them. They could be very good as well. Hoffman, we have a card for already. Wilf and Stindl, I'm not too up on. I think they have injury records that are worth noting. Well, we'll start with Zachariah, since XMK hit that. Now, Zachariah, again, Swiss International, is like a destroyer CM type, is the perception I've got of him. I've not paid too much attention to him when I have watched Gladbach or Switzerland, just because he's not like an attacking player. He gets like a goal in a season, maybe 3 or 4 assists. I'm saying that before even looking at his stats. So if I'm totally wrong on that, I'm sorry. But yeah, a goal every 9% of his matches, and an assist every 4% of his matches across all seasons. This season, it's a wee bit higher, I suppose. Yeah, he's been getting amongst it under the new manager. It might be a wee bit of a change to his game. So when you take that kind of information into consideration, Zachariah, his or Zakaria, don't know how we're going to go with the pronunciation on this one. Zakaria. I'm going to go with Zakaria. With Zakaria, like, some of these SO5 scores are going to be antiquated because, oh Jesus, man, they are so low, aren't they? Yeah, he was just sitting, make one pass a game. So I think that's all he's been doing. But now, under the new manager, since we come into this season here, his scores have been predominantly, much better. So with a change in manager, new situations happen. Of course, we've spoken about that quite a lot on the channel, and this could be an emerging situation. Interceptions is still nice and high. If he's adding an assist into his game, a high passing accuracy is good to see. What else are we looking at here? Dribbles are high, which is good for a ball winner. You want to win the ball, beat a man, and play it. And yeah, nothing else is really jumping out there, I suppose, really. But there's more to just those stats. But if he's adding these things into his game, 100%, it's going to benefit him, no doubt. Um, that's an accuracy. 42 passes a match. Is that enough? Probably not. So hopefully you're kind of watching Gladbach to see what is his role now. Trying to, because last season he was just win the ball, move it, win the ball, move it. Doesn't do much, and if that's changed, brilliant. If not, I'll just see much SO5 upside on that in the current situation. Florian Niehaus, we have a card for, of course, already in the German national team. One of the wonder kids in Germany. Gets a good write up and stuff. I'm pretty sure when I've looked at him on SoRare Data in the past, his scores haven't blown me away. And I think he's one of these guys. And I'm getting like Cuisance flashbacks. Cuisance is obviously a wee bit off the rails at the moment or whatever, right? But not in that respect. But Cuisance was also at Gladbach and was not like a starter, but was like starting 2 or 3 games, coming off the bench, doing well, whatever, getting his way in. Yeah, he does okay, I suppose, doesn't he? It's quite decent, yeah. But 24, he's not a spring chicken. And those DNPs are concerned, so I think he's been picking up some injuries or whatever. I'm not up to speed with him. But he is very well thought of. We should maybe check out his last season stats, and we'll have a peek at them. They might tell us something a bit more than this season if he's been getting DNPs. But a goal every 5 games, an assist almost the same rate for all last season. Interceptions 4.5. Yeah, everything else is kind of like you'd expect for number 8. Jules 1's over 50%. Dribbles is nice and high. Yeah, this guy's just a good ball player, isn't he? Recoveries in opposition half, 6.78, but it's only 42% that were successful. And yeah, he's got some really good stats on him. And again, in an attacking kind of setup like Gladbach have, these kind of guys like Zachariah, his job is to get the ball to Niehaus, get the ball to Kramer, Laszlo Benes, these guys that can move it forward. And then we move into the attacking player. So Alassane Player, definitely somebody I would love to buy. I've just got too many champion Euro forwards, but Player is somebody who I think for the last 3 seasons, like, who was he at in France? Was it Nice? He had like 2 good seasons at Nice, and it's 2 good seasons at Nice. If I remember this wrong, I'm really sorry, right? But they were like kind of like patchy. He was like hitting like 8 goals in 6 games or something like that. You would hear from half a year, then he would hit like 10 goal contributions in 4 matches, that kind of thing. Then didn't get the big move I think he was angling for. Went to Gladbach, and again, what I just described, it's kind of been like that at Gladbach. He's had a very good partnership with Thuram. The problem has been getting them both fit on the pitch together. Breel and Bolo is a very similar mould in terms of the pace and the strength that they possess, and they are a very credible, sets of forwards. Patrick Herrmann as well is a bit more of a veteran. I'm going to say he's closer to 30, maybe 29. Yep, he's 30. It kind of rotates in a bit more on the wide side of a 3-4-3 when they play that way, So all very good guys. Good XG, good running stats and everything as well. I actually want to see Player I want to see. I want to see what his SoRare Data looks like. Cause I actually really like. I love player on FIFA. Like, see when Alisson player gets inform cards. Like, I used to love that. Cause I just like shooting style stuff. His last fives and 15s and all that are good. But yeah, he does need the decisive, doesn't he? It seems. He really needs getting over 10 is hard for a player. It's hard, but I'm not too sure what his minutes has been like across a lot of these as well. It's hard to tell that class for it. It's safe to say he gets unlocked. He is a key player. At the age of 28, he's no spring chicken either. And Ball looked really good at the Euros. Yeah, I remember that, but I think he had like two good games or something, didn't he? And then he went missing. I think I might be remembering that wrong, but yeah, he did get a good bit of hype. At least, yeah, for us, he had like 5 minutes of fame in the Euros. I definitely remember that. He's a power sub for them, you know. So, and again, that's a strategy I was talking about with Sean Newsham on the pod. Is like those subs that you know will play and they have the ability to score from the bench. Do you play them? If you don't have much money for a champion Euro, rare, limited, whatever, guys like this can get you in. Now you look at how often he's hitting. It's not that often, but you look how often he's DNPing. It's even less often, you know. So for like an ETH grinding team, this guy, like guys like him, have a place definitely, you know. So and look at that in the last game when he did start decisive. So I'm guessing he started if he's got a decisive of 70 and an all round of 18, and bang in the big ones when he gets the minutes, you know. So that could be a nice wee sleeper, you know, that when he does break, if he does get in the team much more regularly. Let's check him out and see how he's been doing minutes wise this year. He was injured, I think. Yeah, I think he's got a track record of that, doesn't he? Look great against Wales. Yeah, that rings a bell. Check him out. Turam has a card. I'm not really going to bother with Turam too much. Heavily linked away. If you don't know about Marcus Turam, sorry, you'll be able to find out everything you want to on him quite easy because he's been around for a while. Switch back to me. Oi, oi. So what we're thinking, Gladbach and Dortmund, some really good cards in both of them. I think for a lot of these. And the thing is that I'm saying that will probably be limited I would go for. But I'm quite happy with like my Man City. Oh, is there any Man City players? Ex Man City. There's some Man City. I like my Man City limited. Those La Liga guys. I don't really want to detract from that or take away from it. You know. But yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what I end up in the market for. I'm very undecided. I'm very excited and undecided and indecisive all at once. So this is in Bowl. Let's have a look at this season. How is he shaping up for minutes? So wow, okay. 2 games where he's come off the bench. This very much reminds me of Paulinho at Leverkusen, and yeah, it's Wolfsburg as well. That's a big game to show up in. So Breland Bolo could be a sneaky one, by the way. That maybe us, 29 of us that are on the stream, we can get the first 29 Breland Bolos before anyone else because we know that he's going to take an up form in that last 5, 15 and 40. Andre Silva, he was... What about Andre Silva, sorry? What about Hausenberg? Hausenberg's at TLS too. Oh, guys, you're losing me, sorry. I'll leave these to you maybe talking FIFA, that's my fault, I'm sorry. What do you think about Gallery versus ETH doubling or tripling in price? What do you mean, hey man? Like if ETH doubles, what does your gallery do? It doesn't double, but it doesn't stay the same. There is no exact science. It's really hard to quantify, and I never attempt to. I've tried to quantify it and explain it and try and wrap my head around it, but there is no real rhyme or reason. If ETH goes up, your gallery is not going to go up at the same pace as ETH, but it will go up something, you know. Almost every time. I'm only talking from experience. I don't have a crystal ball. And equally, if ETH goes down, your gallery doesn't go down anywhere near as much, if at all. Really, it's kind of almost like the way I used to describe it is it's kind of like anchored. You know, it's kind of anchored against ETH the card. You know, because it has a utility. So it's a kind of funny one because the prizes are still paid out in ETH, of course, and whatever. So it's a very complicated. I just realised I'm going to have to buy a Gulashi X Tranmere, the first one. Yeah, Gulashi, it was on loan at Tranmere, was at Liverpool, wasn't he? Maybe selling a bit or something. I've lost me, hey, my with that line. Lost me, I'm sorry, Paul. If you're thinking about selling, well, ETH is doubling. It's not if you want ETH, cards are a great source of getting ETH if you don't have ETH. So if you want ETH, well, it's going up, then yeah, selling cards would be a good way to get ETH if you don't want to pay fiat for it. Sell for an NFT. The next one we're gonna do Leipzig. Okay, I'm not gonna spend as long on Leipzig as maybe the other two, just because quite simply I've covered Leipzig like I think forever on the channel, and I suspect most of these are regulars. By the way, please do like the stream; it means a lot to me. Helps other people find us, and yada yada. Yeah, thank you. So I was actually bashing Leipzig very recently, um, with just the form of it, but we've had two good results against Bielefeld and somebody else crap, but spanked two teams in a row right before the international break. It is definitely the worst Leipzig team, but it's been a lot of change and a lot of upheaval. It cannot be understated enough. With Werner still not really being replaced properly, Sabitzer going, Upamecano going, Konate going. It's been a big summer turnaround, and then other guys as well, like Kluivert didn't work out, Sorloth didn't work out. Danny Olmo's been doing well, but he does pick up injuries. Solomon, if I can say that, has picked up injuries and stuff, and keeping him fit has been a big problem, I suspect. The thing when they signed Solomon, if that's how you say it, I thought, wow, he must be like the replacement for Sabitzer, but I couldn't imagine, like, who would buy Sabitzer? We're going to be getting cards for Brian Brobby again, Andre Silva, Eunice Poulsen, Conrad Lehmer. It is a real star-studded team, Leipzig. They just get the best players they possibly can in the age brackets and the Moneyball kind of raw statistics data that they go with. And the end result, as long as it's coached correctly and they're all fit and on the same page, some really good football. And I'm actually looking forward to it. I've not done this actually. Let's check out. So who's been playing a good bit? Let's check out Danny Olmo. I want to see how good Leipzig guys are actually scoring on SO5. Or let's just do it. How are they listed here? RB Leipzig, RB space L. RB Leipzig. This way. See what SoRare Data is giving us. Yeah, it looks kind of about right. I suppose Guardiola is in the back, but Haidara's next to Campo, and then Forsberg and Kunku are here and here. Cost and Angelino and Mukulele are on the wings, yeah. Mukulele scores really bad, which actually kind of excites me because then I think nobody else is going to want him. I love Nordi Mukiele. If you don't know, Nordi Mukiele, I love the guy. Wow, woof, his scores are honking. Wow, his scores are honking. I really hope they stay like that for a long time until I can get one. Mariba, yeah, I'll have a look at Mariba. And Kunku is definitely the crown jewel of the team. There's no two ways about that. Takes all the set pieces, goals and assists possible in every match. Getting into the France team, yeah, Kunku's definitely the crown jewel of the team. And now Tyler Adams is a good card to have for collectorship, of course. That American in Europe kind of vibe. The statistics with Tyler. The thing with Tyler Adams is he's kind of all over the place in terms of positionally. He can kind of play everywhere. Soboslai. Got you, Dan Cooper. Thanks, my man. Soboslai. Galashi had a 3-month loan at Hereford United last time we were in League One. Wow. He was in Champions League and stuff like that. Yeah, man. So this season, Tyler Adams has been playing a lot. And then, because the American manager has obviously invested in him doing well for the American national team, he's been playing Tyler Adams more as a CDM rather than a right wing back or a right back, or even in a back three, which has happened all under Nagelsmann last year. His interceptions this season are nice and high. They're up at 5, which is cool. Nothing else is that spectacular, I must say. But he's starting in the team. Tyler Adams, he should be here. He has been starting, I know he has. But there he's there. It's like last 5 and stuff are pretty rubbish. Yeah, he doesn't score well, does he? Look well, Tyler Adams. Guaranteed all the negative 80s will be possession and dual loss for McKinney. Probably, yeah, because he is just a freight train up and down that right line. Angelino has actually got really low stats. That surprises me and excites me. X-Man City, of course, and I've got a wee Red Bull contingent in my gallery already. But yeah, he's shit. Nobody buy Angelino. He is, yeah, that last 542, terrible player. Just Soldier Pedro Porro for 0.75. Josh, I'm not gonna lie, mate. I was very tempted when I seen it. Very tempted. Good sale, well done. Nice card. Simicans came in and done well. I say the thing with Leipzig, okay, is there's no real. I'm trying to give you some bang for your buck here on the stream, guys, for Leipzig, but it's just I cover them so much, and I feel if I went over them in much more detail, I'd be boring you all to tears. Because if you're regulars, you'll hear me talking about them. Hausenberg's been injured, I think, a good bit of this season. But the thing about Hausenberg is he's very goal dangerous, but it's a new manager, so and there's been a lot more of a back four vibe in the Leipzig team. So like how Hausenberg fits into that now, because Angelino is going to be left back. He's not going to be playing centre back ahead of Simican, Orban, Guardiol. Guardiol plays full back a little bit as well. And then this Henriks guy is knocking about. He's highly thought of. So like Hausenberg and Klosterman, I see them being marginalised as the season goes on and as the development of the club continues. So I don't know if that's your question. I'm sorry. Yeah, I think I'm done with it. Leipzig, right? Okay. Who's the next team we're going to come on to? Now I've covered Hoffenheim and Wolfsburg recently in the pod, so I would much rather you just checked out the pods for them. For the stream tonight, let's try and catch some fresh blood. I'm actually quite excited to look at Stuttgart because of what we were talking about earlier. For Berlin, there's some good chat to be had there, I know that. Same with Cologne. And I suppose Frankfurt probably got some stuff going on. So we've got some pure Pedro Porro. Edition just ruins him, yeah. I don't know if he's have any preference for, but I think I'm just going to go Stuttgart. Of course. Mavropanos is at Stuttgart. I think it was actually for a podcast. I was thinking what teams to look at and think about. And I was like, oh wow, there's actually some bits and pieces going on over here at Stuttgart. And it was Mavropanos that caught my eye. This Sosa boy is kind of mentioned on football Twitter quite a lot. Somebody else, I reckon. The Bayaz guy, he's got a card from Fenerbahce, I think, isn't he? I think that might have been something that caught my attention in the transfer window. If that is the case, I'm sure it is. Nobody else there really jumps out. Let's check out what. SoRare Data is just so good, by the way. Who really needs? Who needs Vice-Scout when you've got SoRare Data? To be honest, it has everything you need to know. Well, yeah, that's pretty much everything you need to know. Yeah, nobody really too exciting. I think it'd just be youth prospects is all you're kind of really looking at. SO5 wise does not seem to be much going on. The Mavropanos scores well. Wataru Endo is not going to excite a lot of people, so his scores could be exciting for you. Mark Kempf, I don't know his name. 26-year-old defender. It looks like he's been playing midfield. That can't be right. I think they play three at the back. Up front, man, they're just dead, aren't they? What's going on with them up front? Oh, and they've got an American coach. Yeah, I seen a tweet about that recently. Yeah. Silas may go under the radar. Yeah, Silas. Oh, Didavi. This guy here was thought of quite well, quite high regard. The Mangala guy, I think, caught my eye on a statistic recently. Kempf. Let's check out this Kempf guy. 2 goals and 6 assists. Did I see that right? If it is a champion Euro card you're after being over 20 is not it's not a bad thing. Yeah, goals. Once every less centre back he's been playing. Get 2 goals in a game, that's what it is, okay. But passes are big and accurate. Jules won a lot, and they're over 50% aerial duels, interceptions high. Yeah, this guy's a good. Yeah, he could be good, man. Nice centre back. So if he's listed as a defender, yeah, that'll be good. Yeah, this is really jumping out. I think it's really up front. I've not really seen much. One goal, two goals, one goal, couple of assists. 6 assists for Al Gadoui. 6 assists for this guy. Al Gadoui. How are you keeping up this year, son? Oriel Mangala has promised to, yeah. I think he caught my eye with some statistics and stuff. Gladzic is good, but looks injured. I think Chrissy Quirk's been all over the Stuttgart already. Mangala was nice, forward thinking player, my FM in Belgium. Yes, Chris. Must have Silas on my team. I don't see a Silas. Maybe the youth guy is not featured yet this season, potentially, if he's not on this list, because this is just stat capture. El Gadoui, so his minutes has been down, which will be affecting his last 5 and stuff, but wow, behind that, yeah. Oh, they're all friendlies, I suppose. Yeah, he must have been injured and stuff. Let's check his SO5s. A lot of DNPs in here? Yeah, there is. So he could be a wee sleeper as well. Al Gadoui. That's how you say it. He could be a nice wee sleeper for a forward. Do we know when they're planning to release it? I think I've seen somebody say it's end of October. Like, I think it's going to be I think they're giving us plenty of notice, and they're going to. I think it's going to be a. I think it's going to be. It has to be a level above La Liga, in terms of splash, such as the way marketing and such works. As you need to continually outdo yourself. I think to keep making an impact. So, giving us much more of a heads up takes the pressure off them, buys them good, fanfare. They don't ever really get the chance to revel in the coups that they get, because it's very much, you guys will remember back at turn of the year, it was like, oh, we've got PSG, and then like next week it was like, we've got Bayern Munich, and it was like, oh my god, Real Madrid, and it was like, you kind of went from one to the other, and then eventually like, oh, we've got Boca Juniors, and like nobody gives a fuck, whatever. So Buba has been banned as well this one. Silas has been injured since March. Okay, so he's an injured guy to watch out for sure. But yeah, it's not. I think there's a few sleeper guys here that might turn around, and I'm sure. I think there's a lot. I think a lot of these guys are young. When you look at the year they're born, it's such a young squad. Everyone, like the oldest guy, the one guy born in '99. The rest of them are '96 and below. Midfield is a bit older, but we've got a lot of 2000s there. Actually, it works out right, doesn't it? 97, 98. Yeah. So they're all quite young, except for yeah, they're all very young. Kampf is like the oldest, basically. And then for the midfield, yeah, we get Endo is a bit older, but otherwise, yeah, very young squad. Average age is very, very young. What does Stuttgart do well in the team rankings? Because the style of play is interesting. Because if we're waiting for some of these guys to kind of go up a level or get into a good stride, etc., it's interesting to see what they're trying to do now that they're getting, some joy with. So passing wise, do they do anything for us? Instruction wise in the game? Stuttgart are number 4 for passes in the final third. Okay, so they're getting the ball forward often enough. They're 4 for progressive passing, which is it's a stat everyone gets wet for. Progressive running, so they've got some dribblers in their team. They're second in the division for that. That's really interesting. What about attack? Top 5s. We're getting into number 5 for just shot count, period. That's good. They're creating a lot of chances then. Means we're maybe getting some big chances missed, but 1v1 in dribbling, they've got good dribblers in the team. I wonder who's getting all those stats for them. Number 5, touches in the penalty area is really high as well. 5th in the division, very interesting. Did I miss one? I didn't. Yeah. So I actually really like that. I like the sound of the team stats a lot better than some of these individual ones that we've came across. I wonder who's completing all their dribbles. Maybe Wataru Endo in the middle of the pitch. Just beating 2 or 3 guys, being a wee powerhouse centre mid, spraying the ball. Maybe it's the defenders, maybe if they've got 3 at the back, one of them stepping out. Avapanos seems to definitely be a decent card. He'll be U23 as well. He'll be very highly sought after. Right, okay. What other team will we have a look at? Peek at Stuttgart. Who's the goalkeeper for Stuttgart again? Who's the goalkeeper for Stuttgart? Florian Müller. We'll check him out here. Oh, he's 23. Nice. Our U23 goalkeeper coming into the scene. Looks steady enough. Of his appearances, you know. Right. Interesting. Beds for me. Go well, gang. Have a good one, Joshy. Take care. I'm not going to be on for too much longer. I don't think it's definitely getting close to bedtime for me. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, the cut-off point for me is if I get the US men's national team line up. That's what I'll be calling it tonight. So, still got Frankfurt. I say Hoffenheim I've covered on the pod. Same with Wolfsburg. I think the last team I would want to really look at is Cologne. And that might surprise you, okay, right? But Cologne, I've got one of the I've got one of the best sets of fans in terms of like reputation or whatever in Germany. When I went to Hamburg, I watched a St. Pauli match and I bumped into some Cologne fans. I don't know why there was Cologne fans in Hamburg when it was like maybe they were playing Hamburg or something. I was at a St. Pauli game and they were playing Kaiserslautern. Maybe they were playing Hamburg. I bumped into a bunch of Cologne fans and they were so nice and they were well cool. And then it just when they were in the Europa League as well, the Champions League or whatever it was they got into, they played Arsenal. Just a few documentaries came out about them and stuff like that, you know, little pieces online. And yeah, I think I like Cologne. You know, they're a good team. Timo Horn and Jonas Hector. Tell me he's still here. This will still be here. Where's Jonas Hector? This is a midfielder, maybe? Yes, he is. Okay. So Jonas Hector and Timo Horn are where? Depends how you look at it. Like German international levels, the last time Cologne were in the Bundesliga, Cologne got relegated. Both those guys stayed. They're like local guys, came through the system, all the rest of it, and they're back promoted again in the big league. Jorg Mer, or Georgie Mary, whatever his name is, this guy here did the same thing, and he's like a starting player now, doing pretty well by all accounts. But I think like Modeste and Mark Uth. Anthony Modeste, I think he's a bit older, so again, you might get Anthony Modeste, yeah, 33. You might get him cheap, but he's getting goals. He always does. What's this? I can't be bothered with this to load transfer. 2 seconds, guys. We'll look at I want to look at Jonas Hector. Start to play up on my guys. So I even need to leave the stream. Hey guys, let me know after Cologne. Last club we'll cover tonight. Cologne. Type in Jonas Hector. That's all I want to see really. I'm very interested in Jonas Hector. What he comes up as on this. But as a midfielder as well, that will be interesting because he is like a left. Oh yeah, he does come on as a midfielder in this, and his stats are they're good. Yeah, I think that's a card that one. Jonas Hector. Shriekery must be scoring big. Oh, I've just closed that, sorry. Shriekery. Let's get in here. Oh, yes, I think we might open this back up for Shriekery. Oh, sugar, sorry, I've didn't realise I'd put the page back on. I beg your pardon, guys, sorry. But Shriekery, let's have a look at his stats. So he looks like a deep line CM there from that little page which you've seen of positionally where he's been playing this season. Is that Tunisia flag? So African qualifiers, like some of these teams, Tunisia are like they've beat up 2 World Cups maybe in my lifetime. Tunisia, so in the African region they definitely win. You know, they definitely beat teams. He's getting lots of 90 minutes and thereabouts. You know, goals is high this year. Which if he's a CDM, that is interesting. Expected goals, he's outperforming his expected goals. He must have scored some worldies. Interceptions is high. Aerial duels one is credible. Duels one is good. Accuracy of his stuff is all really high. Long passes, especially, being 83%, is nice to see. And recoveries in the opposition half, 40% out of 9 happen. That's good to see as well. That's a nice wee guy, actually. Born in 95, so about 7 years younger than me. That means 26 or something. Yeah. So, Colin. Guys, anyone else we want to have a wee look at. Any more for any more, guys? So I think tonight, guys, we've identified quite clearly some like a good couple of goalkeepers. Just standard champion guys, a few of them 23s. Defenders are not hard. Good, exciting defenders, I don't think are really that hard to identify in modern football, because to be a top level defender, the attributes you need to excel in are very favourable to SO5. So I think it's very easy to find a defender that will do a job for you. So there's plenty of them going to be flushed about. And to get a champion Euro, like at the moment, going double defender, you can't really do that and expect a prize, because unless you get penalty taking guys or whatever, it's just it's going to be really hard. So you kind of need to double up in midfield, generally speaking. So getting some of these midfielders that play every week and maybe take set pieces and whatever, that might be overlooked, have a shit last 5, last 15. I think we've maybe touched on a few of them tonight. Forwards and strikers, the only person I haven't looked at, which I'll do if he's actually, I'll throw this up with SoRare Data. So I covered it in the podcast Hoffenheim, but yes, Mark Hudson. You've read my mind. We're going to go and have a look at Andre Kramaric. Now, Andre Kramaric is a legend, a hero, a man. The IPDs, IPDs ran scared of this man. Jesus, where is he? There he's at Kramaric. Let's pull him back up. So the scores aren't that great. He's been getting some injuries and stuff like that. He's been in and out of the team. Minutes have been all over the place, but when he plays, like everything goes through Kramaric in this team, you know. And when he does hit big, like, you know, 380s in a row, and then look at this period here, 4 scores over 80, and you know, last 5 at that point is like what, 90 is his average probably or something. He's got it in him to really do everything for Hoffenheim, get a goal, get 2 assists while he's at it, takes the penalties, plays up front, plays right wing, plays number 10, can play centre mid, does it all. It's really bizarre why a bigger team hasn't come in for him, but at the age of 30, it's kind of hard to see where he goes from Hoffenheim. He's kind of openly said he wants to leave, but he loves the club for everything they've done for him. They've made him a star player in the Bundesliga, and he'll continue to play for them to the extent that he does until he doesn't, you know, until he does move on, which is good. You know, he's got a good bit of honour, he's got a good bit of loyalty to them. They pulled him out of Leicester after he wasn't getting game time there, after being a highly sought after youngster. Feels like that was a lifetime ago, doesn't it? But he's been at Hoffenheim banging them in, and yeah, Kramaric, I think, has got a place in all of our hearts, doesn't he? Big Woot. No, we've not looked at Woot yet. Let's dot him in. Now, the thing with Woot is he is like a target man, so that's actually quite interesting to have a look at, because the target men guys, me and Techers were talking about it on the podcast. Those like strikers that only get like 10 passes a game, like Lewandowski, if you're not going to be banging in the goals and assists, like your score will be hampered. Woot is getting on the end of stuff, but he was the second top goal scorer in the Bundesliga last year, thereabouts. Highly anticipated he might have been sold. Nobody really came a knocking for him. He's been in the Dutch team as well, and yeah, he can do it. Bad bit of form this season with Wolfsburg. You know, I've got in the Mecca and the Max Phillip. They've not really paid off for me yet. A lot of rotation. The thing with Wolfsburg, and I don't know if we'll be able to get this on SoRare Data. I think we will. But they also signed Waldschmidt, and they signed Nemeka. We'll pop that in. And I thought they were going to play, like, cause both those guys, especially Waldschmidt, if you watched him when he was at Freiburg, the way he plays and the way Nemeka played for Germany under 21s in the summer, you could imagine both of them being like false wide forwards almost, because that's a that is a pattern that's creeping into football. I don't know what the term for it will be, but it is like you get people just play like it's the same kind of principle as playing like a midfielder in defence, where you play like more strikers like close to each other, and it's just like if you're going to make chances, you have actually 3 real strikers in the box. It's not like you've got one that's a winger who's not really that great at finishing, whatever. Not really worked out that way. This Sebastian Bonau guy is definitely well thought of. He's got a card already from the looks of it, which surprises me. Maxence Lacroix. This whole team, by the way, is really exciting. That's why I covered them in the podcast. The whole team is exciting. Lots of good players, top to bottom here. Like this whole page is full of good players. It really is. I've got a good coach there, Mark Van Bommel. They play a really good style of football. They're trying to be progressive. They're trying to play attacking football. They've also got Dodi Lukebakio. Renato Stefan, I've not really actually paid too much attention to him. I don't know much about him, but Josh Gelavogi doesn't really play it too much to my mind, but he's obviously here, so he must be featuring. Max Arnold is a hero, of course, to all men across the footballing world. But Riddle Baku and Kevin and Bamboo, that's probably the fastest right-hand side in world football. So they could be very good cards as well. Their scores are really low. It will be the duels lost and the misplaced passes, no doubt. But Cohen Casteels, by the way, I was begging for a Cohen Casteels when Belgium came on. I couldn't believe he didn't make the squad. He was injured. Not that great a goalkeeper, but like good, isn't he? I got Kevin Trapp instead, and if I was to get a Cohen Steels, I'd be selling the Trap to do it, and I've got no real motivation to do that. Really, like get the German back up to get the Belgian back up, and one's in Europe, one is in whatever, or they're both in Europe actually, I think. But Cohen Casteels, same when Belgium came on, I was mightily gutted he wasn't in the squad because I'd have been buying him. Brundle. He's a good goalkeeper to be looking at. Yes. I think that might be us. Baku seems to have a good line into the German team. Now, Baku did really good in that German under-21s tournament. The Euro under-21s that Germany won. Like Dorsch was the key CM. Nemeka was the top goal scorer. That Baku was probably breakout player of the tournament. Wirtz was on form in a big way. There was a few really good players in that squad. And Baku was definitely the breakout, like the guy that was like, oh, everyone was like, never heard of this kid before. Don't think he really played much last year, and if he did, wasn't to any great aplomb or anything. Went very much under the radar if he did. But yeah, so he's been on the scene with a bang, certainly. And the like card for Bornau. Nice. Can I say quick? Going that extra mile. Love it, my man. Love it. So yeah, I did say Ulysses David Peters, you left a fantastic comment somewhere. Where did you do it? Thank you very much for dropping the comment. Wherever what you I seen it the other day. Thank you very much, David. It was a very good comment. I forgot what it was, but I remember seeing it thinking, David, good to see you, my pal. But Sakiri, nice, good to see you're into him. Do you think Y Scout is worth it for some? No, I think what you should just do is join the member section. It's £1 a month, 99p, or £2 a month, and you can nominate the players that we go through. I am behind schedule with that, guys. Actually, just while we're talking about it, my personal life has just been super busy. Like I've got a honeymoon to go. So like, there's got so much stuff going on. So I'm terribly behind on the member stream stuff. But if you go on the YouTube channel, there'll be a button that says join, and there's a video somewhere. You'll be able to find it. It just explains what we do and what we get stuck into. But I do it twice a month is what we plan for with the channel. And we just go through players that you want to look at, and we can look at video clips and highlights and that kind of stuff as well. It's like £500-600 a year. It's not really, I would say, worth it. Join the members thing for a month or 2 months. Find out everything you want to, and then you can turn off the member section if you want. That's one of these things, That's what it's here for, guys. It's a community service. That's the way I see that system. But yeah, guys, no real questions or anything. And I think we had some amazing hires in the community today as well. Like for SoRare, the 4 guys. It's like I said it in a tweet somewhere, but it's an all-star cast, some big hitting, big experience, top shelf looking guys. Get my shirt, love it. So guys, it's just onwards and upwards, man, in a big way. Yeah, can't wait for the game weeks when we don't have international football. We're back to domestic because I've redone my depth chart, and like I've done it for a video, and then again, same as like I'm trying to redo it for a little while, and every time I get close to like, right, okay, I can video it and I can talk about this and talk about that, the Bundesliga gets announced or the Liga gets announced or something else happens or limiteds or whatever. So stay tuned, guys. We've plenty of content coming. Yeah. Like, subscribe, share, retweet, all that good stuff, guys. If you're watching this after we've been live, thank you very much for making it all the way to the end of the video. All you guys who are here, thank you very much. Please, before you leave, I gave you a fist bump on entry. On your way out, hit that like button for me. Thank you very much. If you're watching this after we've been live, what YouTube's going to show you now is some other stuff I've made that you might like. And yeah, guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
It's the time.